Alright, let's get started creating some charts and graphs to output our financial analysis. I'm going to start by copying this header above and pasting it down below here, and then calling this section Charts and Graphs. And there's a few things that I want to graph here, and the first thing is I want to graph revenue to show the top line of the business. I then want to graph our total expenses, and then the resulting net income. With these three items, I can create a stacked bar chart combined with a line that's going to produce a really nice result. So what I recommend doing is pulling all of this information down into this section, even though it's all up in the model already. This way it makes it much easier to chart. So let's start by opening up the income statement section. And so I'm going to set revenue equal to the top line of the income statement. I'm going to set total expenses equal to the sum of taxes, interest, depreciation, SG&A, and COGS. And I'm also going to, using F2, go into this cell to put this all in brackets and put a negative sign in front of it. Then net income, if I just press Alt equals, should be the difference of those two. And if I scroll up to the income statement, I see that yes, that's correct. So let's take this and fill it right. So what I want to do is create a stacked bar chart that has revenue on the positive side and expenses on the negative side, and then charts with a line net income, which is the difference between the two. So let's press Alt N for insert, and then we're going to choose here C, and we're going to choose the second option, which is a stacked column chart. In the chart section of this course, we are going to use a fair amount of mouse because it actually is the one instance where it's faster and makes it easier. So let's select data and let's add a series here. The first series that we're going to add is called revenue. That's the series name. The series values are going to be equal to all of these revenue data points. Click OK. I'm then going to click add again. This time I'm going to add total expenses, and I'm going to select the expenses line. So what you'll see here immediately is that and actually before we go into that, let's select the axis labels as well, which are across the top here. I'm just going to press OK. So now what we see is we've got revenue growing here and expenses growing down here, and they're offsetting each other. You'll notice that it's not very easy to read the years here. So I'm going to click on this axis and then click on the years and then right click Format Axis. Then across the side here, we want to position it lower down. We want to position it so that we can actually see here what's happening. So I'm going to click on Labels, and where it says next to Axis, I'm going to put Low. So that brings it down to the bottom. I'm also going to press Control B to bold the years so they're easier to see. The next thing that I want to do is I want to adjust the axis here, and I want to change the units because there's a lot of numbers here, a lot of zeros that are sort of unnecessary. So in order to do that, I'm going to click, I've right clicked on it, and then where it says display units, I'm going to put it in thousands. And it automatically adds this for me, thousands, which is nice. Okay, so now we've got the first part of our chart set up here. But the next thing that we want to do is we want to add net income. We can't add it as a stacked bar chart, or it's going to be either on top of revenue or underneath revenue, and it won't really make sense. It'll be rather hard to read it. So let's right click here and on the chart and then select data. And then let's click add to add another series. The series name is net income. And the series values are located across here. So I'm going to press OK. And I'm going to press OK again. Now, as you'll see, this doesn't really make a lot of sense because what it's done is it's added net income on top of revenue. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select the net income series by clicking on it, and then I'm going to right click and select Change Series Chart Type. This brings up a series of options for me here, and you'll see that I've got each series name and then the chart type. So net income, instead of stacked column, I actually want it to become a line. And if I wanted to, I could put it on the secondary axis if I wanted to make it a different scale. But I think in this case it works to keep it on the primary axis. So I'm going to press OK. Now I've got net income as a line, which I think is much nicer. And now let's do some formatting to clean this up here. So first thing I'm going to do is just click on the grid lines. You'll know the grid lines are selected when you see these little bubbles at the end. And I'm just going to press delete. I don't need the grid lines. I think it's a lot cleaner without them. The next thing I'm going to do is if I click on one of these stacked columns and then right click to Format Data Series, I'm going to reduce the gap width. The gap width is the amount of space between these. Let's try 100% and see how that looks. I think that's a bit nicer. It sort of fills up the white space more. I'm also going to change the color of this one. To change the color, you click on the fill and select a solid fill. Let's try like a bold dark blue, and let's also click on border and make sure no line is selected so there's no border. And on the negative side, I'm going to click on the operating expenses and I'm going to click solid fill again. I'm going to make it a different color, but I'm probably going to make it like a light gray. I think orange is a bit, a bit off in terms of the color scheme of this. And then we can also play with the net income line, and we can make it something that stands out a bit more. Let's try a light blue. I think that kind of fits with our color scheme a little bit better. And maybe we want to reduce it slightly, but then change the under dash type. We can actually make it like a dotted line. So I think that looks good. I think that looks like a nice color scheme for this chart here. The next thing I'm going to do is add a legend to this. So if we've clicked on the chart, then you'll notice at the top you have format as an option and you have design as an option that have appeared on the ribbon. So click on design and then add chart element. We are going to add, so you have all sorts of options that you can add here. We're going to add a legend and I'm going to place it at the top. So now we can clearly see revenue is in dark blue, expenses in gray, and then net income in a light blue here. I may also want to add a chart title. So by clicking on it and going back to design, add chart element, I can add a chart title, and I'm going to put it above the chart, and I'm going to call this income statement summary. And I may need to move things around here. I'm actually going to take the legend and put it at the bottom, which gives more room for the title up top here. And there, now we have, I'm just going to leave this right here, and we've got a very nice income statement summary that graphically shows the difference between our revenue and our operating expenses, resulting in this net income over time.